Hello, everybody. It's been a while. It's been, oh gosh, the last time I went live for reals. I know I tried to do a live stream during the Starliner launch, but that was the one. Gosh, what day was the second scrub? I think the second scrub I tried to go
First.
live. The first one, June 1st. Yeah, exactly. The first one I was there. I was trying to live stream, and then I realized it was going to be a scrub, so I didn't really get more than like 2 sentences out. And then, of course, the first one, both of us, I'll get to this in a second, but both of us were, all three of us were actually at the at Kennedy Space Center. Only one of the three of us got to see the launch. I'm a little jealous. Um, anyway, welcome to Orbital Velocity Live. I used to call it Orbital Velocity Live. I think I'm going to start calling it Kármán Line Café now, where we just have a casual conversation about spaceflight, human spaceflight in particular. This week has been a crazy week with Starliner launching and docking. Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams are at the space station with the other 7 members of the Expedition 71 crew on the International Space Station. And at the same time as docking, right before docking on, gosh, what day was that? That was the 6th, I think. Thursday was docking. Then Starship launched and landed and had an epic reentry. Did either of you see any of the clips of that?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Did you see the most recent one that SpaceX had released a couple?
No, I don't think so.
Was it earlier today? So okay, the buoy cam.
Oh, it might have. Ooh.
Okay, well I'll be sure to show that later.
I think so.
so I'm going to talk about Starliner, Starship, and a little bit about our NASA social experience, and I'm going to talk about the final flight a little bit of the VSS Virgin Spaceship Unity, its final flight. And then I think if we have time, we'll do some stuff. Talk about the Axiom spacesuits for Artemis 3, as well as Dream Chaser, which is the next new spacecraft to go to the International Space Station after Starliner. And yeah, we'll go with that. For now, I want to introduce everybody to Brandon and Sarah. They were with me at the NASA Social. If Brandon, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you're doing right now, what's going on in your life.
Yeah, my name is Brandon Hanna. I'm a mechanical engineer. I've dabbled working in the space industry here and there, and but I also do a Star Wars podcast with my buddies called Scoundrels Inc. And I have my own YouTube channel where I talk about science and movies and soon to be some NASA social content from my end of things over there as well. And yeah. Nice to be here.
Yeah. And Sarah, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Sarah Sider. I'm just a Twitch affiliate, just a space nerd, fellow space nerd. Also going to be sharing my NASA social experience. I'm all over social. I've got YouTube, TikTok, IG, all that good stuff. So that is me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Well, I think the
Thank
first
you
thing
for having me.
Yeah, no, this is great. I love having people on because at least I'm having somebody to talk to besides just this big, cycloptic glass.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll put googly eyes on it or something.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
But I think I guess the first topic before we get into all the fun stuff is to talk about. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the passing of Bill Anders, the Apollo 8 astronaut, one of the 3 Apollo 8 astronauts. He was on he's 90. He was 90 years old. He died on June 7th. I guess he was flying a vintage T-30. His own plane, vintage T-34. And I won't go into the details there because I don't think anything's official. So other than it crashed. So we'll wait for the NTSB to report. But yeah, he I guess something happened and he crashed.
I read that. At least he died doing what he loved.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully I don't mess this up here, but I was going to say aside from him being one of the first 3 people to leave low Earth orbit, he took let's see if I'm going to share my screen here. He took this famous, the famous Earthrise photo. First of all, here is the let's see if I can,
the Earth selfie.
Yeah, where is it here? This is where things are going to be fun here. Hopefully I don't mess anything up. Can everybody see that?
Let's see, watch stream.
Yeah, give it
Dropping
a
down
second.
my props over here. Excuse me.
Yeah, so you see it? Everybody see it? I think you guys can see it on the stream
Absolutely.
too. Yeah, he did the famous Earthrise photo. Although I think there's some joking debate about whether it was him or Jim Lovell that actually snapped the famous photo. but for the most part, he's credited with that photo and jump-starting the environmental movement really because of that. And I was first, I'm gonna close the this screen here. There we go. Back to our normal viewing. Now, I was really hoping that I knew that Frank Borman, the commander of that mission, had died back in November, and the only one of that crew that is still alive is Jim Lovell now. He was also he was the commander of Apollo 13. I was hoping that all three of them would have been alive to meet. Obviously, I'm sure the Artemis 2 crew had met them before, I'm sure. But, after they had flown around the moon, it would have been nice for that whole crew to meet each other, but they won't be doing it on this plane. So maybe Jim Lovell, though. He's 96, so they gotta get to the moon quick. Yeah, we gotta get there. So we got that out of the way. Wish him
hope to make it to 96.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So hopefully, rest in peace, Bill Anders. We're always going to be thinking of him. And
it was always a
talk about living a full life.
Very full life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So going on from that to Starliner, a little bit more positive news. It finally launched. This was a crew flight test. Hopefully the only crew flight test. We'll have Starliner 1 if everything goes well next March. But this is after 2 uncrewed orbital flight tests, which had its own set of problems. But they're launched. Butch and Suni, after years and years of training and waiting, they are on the space station. So in advance of that launch, a bunch of us, including the 3 of us, got to go down as part of a NASA social to go. What would you say, kind of behind the scenes of everything? And so,
BTS.
Yeah, we got to go to the Commercial Crew and Processing Facility, the C3PF, which is where they...
VAB.
Oh, the VAB, the VAB, or what?
VAB.
It's technically the VAB. I don't think anybody officially calls it the VAB. But
we could change that.
We could change that, I suppose.
We could change
Start a movement.
But yeah, so we got to go to the C3PF, where they're assembling Starliner service modules and refurbishing the crew modules. We got to go to the vehicle assembly building, which, I've been there before, but it's always breathtaking how crazy big it is. And I have a dog.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
That was my first time. Oh my god.
If I'm distracted a little bit, my dog has come in here. My dog's name is Callisto. If anybody wants
to see the dog.
Yeah, everybody's got to see the dog. Say hi, Callisto.
What's up, Callisto?
Hello.
I worry she's going to distract me to the point where she shouldn't have to go out because I just took her out.
She was standing there waiting for her moment.
I know she is. She was. He had just come up, actually. It's like, Derek's doing something. I'm going to actually go up there and just, make my presence known. Yeah, you should go play with the toy. We could talk later. She's just going to stare at me awkwardly.
Wants the attention. That's fine.
So hopefully she doesn't bark, but she might bark.
That's fine.
What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Dogs can do that.
We're talking about the VOB.
Yes, the vehicle assembly building. So yeah, we'll start with those 2 items. What did you guys think about those? Stop it. What did you guys think?
It was my first time. Yeah, it was my first time inside, and it was awesome. I was super excited to have the opportunity to go in there, see the space shuttle memorial on the wall, and kind of see where they put together the SLS, and it's just. You think of the Kennedy Space Center. You could see that building from miles and miles away. It's insane. It's so flat out there. I can't get over it. Sometimes how far away you could see that building.
I think there was a joke one time. The highest point in Florida is an overpass.
Yeah.
That's relatable.
yeah,
You
it
guys
was
keep
really
talking
cool.
really quick because she is all over me right now. I'm gonna go see if she needs water. Something. Sorry. Keep talking.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry to
fine.
make you guys like
Um,
co-host this on your own real quick. I'll be right
you're
back.
fine.
I promise. What are you
Chair
doing?
stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
so for
right.
me, it was really fun learning some new facts. I've seen the VOB my whole life. My dad used to be uh one of those van drivers
Mhm.
or the bus drivers for the tours. And I would see it from like far away. And it was really fun to learn just random facts about it, like how they kind of redesign it for every mission and like the Artemis what is it, the big Artemis flag what they have up there is really cool. And just like the sheer size and measure is insane.
Yeah, it's super cool. I feel like that building, along with many other aspects of the Kennedy Space Center, like in the best way possible, it's like a fully functioning like museum where it's
Mhm.
like this is where
Yeah.
they did Apollo. This was built for Apollo. We're literally
Mhm.
using the same crawler as Apollo, but it's all
Oh, that was
upgraded
really
and it's
cool seeing the
all
crawler.
updated, yeah, and new for what we're currently doing as well. It's
Mhm.
just like a living, breathing facility that has a lot of rich history.
Yes. I
So
remember seeing the crawler when I was like 13 out in the field, like all the way out there. So it was insane seeing it up close. Personal.
yeah,
Welcome
super
back,
cool.
Oh, I'm
Derek.
back. Hopefully, I'm back for a while and not when she starts barking at the door. I shut my door. She was low on water, so she was just getting very antsy. Apparently, I'm hoping that's all it was.
That's relatable.
Hey, don't forget to hydrate,
Mhm.
everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um.
I got my water right here, so
Oh
I won't
yeah.
be barking.
Oh god, you
No,
just nutcase.
I got my water and a little bit of energy. Ah, not sponsored.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What's that water? Is that like
I had water
Celsius?
and then I had a Celsius. I had two things.
Got you.
Yep. Um. Okay.
What
So
was your favorite part of seeing the VAB,
I
Derek?
have been doing research for the last. I mean, I've been there before, but the last time I was in the
No,
building
gotcha.
was probably 2013 when they were
Mhm.
transitioning it, when they were doing a lot of the refurbishment inside. So they didn't
Mhm.
have any solid stacking operations, any hazardous operations in there. So they were giving tours at that time, which was nice.
Oh, cool.
I did not get to
Yeah.
go as far in as we got to go in.
Oh,
It was
really?
basically just in the door, maybe 100 feet. It was I think it was on the north side of the building when we went in,
Oh,
and just
wow.
in maybe 100 feet at most, maybe 50 feet. And then, yep, there's the person would point out all the things and all the history, basically similar to what Madison Tuttle
Mhm.
did for us. But Madison had a lot more. No, I mean the other person had a lot of knowledge too, but you could tell the passion coming from Madison. At least I could anyway.
Meaning, go to a NASA social if you can.
Go to a NASA social. What's the website? It's NASA's. It's obviously NASA.gov.
NASAsocial.edu.gov.
Yeah,
I don't know.
right. I'll
Edu.
post it. I'll post it in the comments or something like that. But they're always doing NASA socials. By always, I mean like there's always one or two on the horizon at least usually.
Mhm. I think the next one is Goes You.
Yeah,
Just the weather satellite.
yeah. But I think the
Yeah, they just
registration for that should already be over. I think.
Yeah, I think the deadline's
yeah, I think they already even told the people who are going like that they're
Oh,
going.
really?
So, yeah, it
Yeah,
was a quick turnaround on that one,
yeah.
I think.
They were probably waiting for Starliner to
Lucky
launch. Come on,
nerds.
guys, we have to do this next one too.
Yeah.
So,
It's true.
but no, so this is the first time I had done all the research for a video I was working on for another YouTuber. The first time I had gone in knowing with all the knowledge base and seeing all the things I'd done the research on, and like, okay, and then I could ask these not harder questions, just more in-depth questions, of the answers that I didn't have. It was kind of neat. Although
That's
I
cool.
don't think Madison had the answer I was looking for about how many elevators there are. It's a random question. I was just we ended up not putting that in the video, the exact number of elevators. Just said the elevators are throughout the building. So,
That's funny.
I want to
Yeah.
go in one of the elevators.
oh, they got a glass
Sure.
elevator somewhere, or a lot of windows in one of the elevators at least. I've never been beyond ground floor. It would be wonderful to go to the roof, or even the 16th floor level, which is the area where the transfer aisle crane is.
Who do we talk to for that?
Uh,
Yeah.
probably Madison. Yeah.
Madison.
Pretty please.
For sure. Get her in the WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Just go ask
exactly.
Bill Nelson himself.
Oh yeah,
Bill
exactly.
We're all friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the social. We're in a special club now.
For sure.
No, yeah. So I was alluding to this, but I was doing research for Jared Owen Animations, and the latest video he was doing was over the vehicle assembly building, and so that's out now for those that want to watch it. I can link it below, but it's probably not appropriate for me to show it on my stream since it's his. So, but yes, definitely go check that out on Jared Owen Animations. He put a lot of work into that.
Reposted it.
Yeah, his. Did you see it then?
I did watch it. Yeah.
Yes. Brandon, did you see it?
No, I think I saw like some screenshots, but I didn't watch the full.
Well, how come?
video.
No,
Yeah,
can
for
watch it.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm a fake friend.
Oh no!
It's all right.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just teasing. Now
It's
so
all
yeah,
right. It's got a
definitely go
life.
check that out. Shout out for Jared. But it basically goes through everything that we saw, and you can see one of the questions we didn't go in. There's a lot of information about it that we didn't have time to go into because it's only a 16-minute video. You can make an hour-long video over the vehicle assembly building, but I personally like the history of each of all the platforms. So you remember High Bay 1, where we went, where the crawler happened to be inside the vehicle assembly building, and you had all those platforms above it, the big bulky looking platforms, the old shuttle platforms. Those were actually the same, obviously modified, heavily modified, the same platforms that were used during the Saturn, during the Apollo program.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so they brought them down, refurbished them, and modified them for the shuttle hardware, because obviously the shuttle looks different than the Saturn V, and then reorganized them and put them in different levels so that they can service the shuttle.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think I was telling Brandon when you were gone how it was cool learning about how they redo the VOB for every mission and every different vehicle.
And now we've got High Bay 3 all decked out for Artemis. So
yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then so we're all talking about the VAB, but nobody cares about the C3PF. Oh, it was cool in there, to be fair, but they didn't really take us that deep into anything. There may not have been much more there, to be fair. So you would walk in, and then on. By the way, the C3PF is the same building. For those who may not know, it's right next to the vehicle assembly building, to the north of the vehicle assembly building, and it's where it was formerly known as Orbital Processing Facility Number 2. So they would have serviced shuttles in that building. But basically, you would walk in, go through some doors after cleaning your shoes. Yeah, little shoe scrubber. And then
that was crazy.
To your left would be one of the service modules. I think that service module they were working on. I have a picture somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. I don't want to I could share my screen. You can get hang on, I'm going to share it real quick. Photos. Well, you might just get a bunch of my random photos. Is this one? Where is it? We're just going to have fun here. I'm going to share this. I have no idea what photo it's going to bring up. Refresh. It sounds like it didn't like that.
I think it liked it.
It said no. Oh, here we go. Well, probably because I had to refresh it. Well, here's getting ahead of things here, but I'm gonna go back out of this real quick.
Oh.
Yeah, astronauts, right? Let's see. Scroll down. Lots of things to scroll through. We had a fun time. There we go. I took a lot of random photos. C3PF. Stay on target. There we go. So the first thing, oh gosh, I know it's in here. Obviously there's the, you guys can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay. And there we go. So you can't really see much. I'm going to full screen it for the audience here. So the first thing you see when you walk in is the surface module for Starliner 1. I didn't get really good photos because I was just in awe about where we were at.
Same.
Yeah, and then this right here is the capsule for the pad abort test they did back in 2019, I believe. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And if you zoomed in, you can see all of the names of all the people that worked on that, all the autographs. And I don't believe there's any plans to refurbish this for an actual capsule. So they're just kind of keeping it as a keepsake. That could always change, but I don't think they're planning on that. And then, no, am I going backwards in time? Let me go forwards in time.
That was the shoe cleaning.
The shoe cleaning. There we go. There's a heat shield. You can't really tell much there. They had a heat shield.
Cool,
and they'll attach them and then balance them on that little device they've got there. Back to that. That's me. There we go. That is the Starliner, the other Starliner. There's two Starliner capsules. Spacecraft number 3 is Calypso, which is currently in space. And then this is spacecraft number 2, if I recall correctly. I don't think it has a name yet. But that will be the one that we use for Starliner 1 back in March. Okay, we'll go with that.
Classic selfie.
Oh, yes. Hey, you weren't there unless you took a selfie, right?
Absolutely.
Oh man, I don't think I was there then.
I have you in the back of a lot of my pictures. So.
Okay. Well, what time is it? I should probably move on, but a little bit since we're talking about the VAB quite a bit. What else did we go to after that? After the VAB, besides lunch?
Oh gosh. So are we talking about the first day?
Yeah, I think it's the first day.
Where else did we go?
We went to the ULA
the ASOC
facility.
The advanced, not Atlas, the Advanced Spacecraft Operations Center. That was kind of neat. It was basically, essentially launch control for the Atlas V, which is neat. And Vulcan, to be fair, that's why it's advanced.
The mission control room.
Yep, basically. They had the red button that they would push if they were going to do an abort or a scrub. So that was neat. That was neat. He had fun pushing that button. And got to have practice in real life, I imagine.
Any of you guys got to push the button? I didn't get to.
I didn't get to push it.
Or at least boop it.
And then we got to go the next day, if I recall correctly, go watch the rollout.
That was insane.
Yeah. Standing right next to the Atlantic Ocean and then watching the rollout.
It was like a private NASA beach.
It was kind of, yeah.
Like
I think the camera mound further south, you're at the astronaut beach house. So we were pretty close to all that stuff. It's on
that's where all the VIPs go, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the media get to go onto the camera mound next to the nearest to the astronaut beach house because they get different angles of the rollout. I think it's a little bit better, but I think they try to separate the NASA social people from the regular media people.
Whatever.
Looks like somebody said, "What a week! Good to have you back." Well, it's good to be back. I'm reading from the comments here.
Chat.
Yep. Let's see. So we're still on Starliner. I haven't even got to Starship yet, so I'm going to try to move along a little bit faster here, since I know you only have about 20 minutes left? Brandon?
Yeah, about 30.
20, 30? Yeah. You want to be respectful to that. So yes, I'm going to get to the highlight. For me, I think the highlight, mostly because I didn't get to see the launch, but I think the highlight for me, and I think Brandon too, was probably seeing, this was was that the morning of the first launch attempt?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, so we got to go see, and this was where I will share my screen once more. We got to see astronaut. I'm not an astronaut. We got to go see, they basically pulled it. Actually, Brandon, if you wanted to go ahead and tell the story, because you tell the story. I think you've told the story pretty well about how we rolled up on. They surprised us.
Yeah, we were like, we knew that we were going to the launch pad the morning of, which was really exciting to see the rocket and the Starliner up close on the pad. And right as we were pulling up, we like start to see out the window these 3 astronauts just doing like this like superhero walk like out of a movie. It was crazy. Like really, I felt like I was watching like something directed by Michael Bay. It was like really, there should have been like the Top Gun theme in the background or something. And then they were all like, surprise, the Artemis 2 astronauts are here and you're going to get to hang out with them. And we couldn't get off the bus fast enough. And of course, I was like further back, I think, than I normally was earlier in the other days on the trip on the bus. And I was like, come on, like, get me off the bus. Like, I'm missing the shot.
I think we all were
So,
like trampling over each other.
yeah.
of,
So
yeah.
some people, the people in the front of the bus, I think, got some really good shots of them walking up. But yeah, it was, you couldn't have scripted it better, I don't think. Especially like, obviously we're all there because we're space fans. So it was quite the surprise.
I have a blurry-ish photo of the superhero walk. It's on my camera. I've not actually put it on Google Photos, so I can't show you really easily right now. But you see some of the astronauts here. We have to the far right. We've got Reed Wiseman. In the center is Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen, and to the left, Bob Hines. I think, right? Was it Bob Hines?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He was on the Crew 4 mission, I believe. Let me see if that Pat zooms in there. I can't tell. That's Expedition 60. I'm gonna go Crew 4. I can't tell. So he's floating the Dragon. Yeah. But I was just shooting away on my camera. I actually didn't get to shake hands with Jeremy Hansen, but the other two Artemis 2 astronauts. I mean, for those who don't know, there's 4 Artemis 2 astronauts, and we have you got Commander Reed Wiseman, you have pilot Victor Glover, which I'll get to in a second, and then you have mission specialist Jeremy Hansen, and the 4th one that was not there was Christina Cook. I don't know where they said she was. Probably doing something else, obviously. But it was really neat to get to see 3 of the 4 astronauts that are going to the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. But so we got Reed right there. There I am with Reed. And if you guys have any photos that we can stream in, I'm willing to do, or video, you guys, I'm willing to do that too.
Right, let me see.
We also got to see the great Tori Bruno. Yeah, there's you, Brandon.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tori Bruno's a pretty cool guy. He's really cool.
Yeah, and just like all the press conferences and stuff, listening to him speak, like he knows the ULA rocket technology as good as anyone at the company. He speaks on it so well and in a way that's really easy to understand, I think.
Very much so. I was like, what's going on with I can follow most of the technical jargon, but he just does a really good job. Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. It's not much. When he said like the first valve issues, like it's not much different than the valve in your water heater at home. I was like, oh, okay, well this is perfect. But yeah, great guy. And then there's Victor Glover with, again, I love how we got all the astronauts that aren't going on this mission and with the rocket in the background.
Yeah, right. Victor Glover, not a part of the superhero walk.
He was not part of the superhero walk. I think they must have been later.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see them come out and to support other Astros, though.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anything. It's just a bunch of me with practice selfies there. And then I got all 4 of them right there. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing here. There we go. So that was, for me, the highlight. Of those first 2 or 3 days, what was the highlight for you guys?
For me, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so the course,
it was probably the first day was meeting everyone and going through all the buildings and the mission control room. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
You don't see those except for like in the movies.
Yeah. The whole package is really neat for everybody, I think. So after that, I had to leave after they scrubbed that night. We got to go to the OSB-2 building. I forgot what OSB-2 stands for. Well, we were there in the evening in the conference room waiting for it to get closer to T-0. And about 2.5 hours before launch, they had the valve issue on the Atlas V rocket. So we had to scrub it. I was going to do some modeling for everybody, but my model's not complete. So you've got the booster stage right here. The
Let's go.
common booster core. I have one of the 2 solid rocket boosters done. By the way, this is paper modeling. This is not my design. It's from a guy, Alfonso from AXM PaperSpaceScaleModels.com. Not sponsored, but go check out his stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, so you got the whole thing there. Imagine another booster on the other side. And then you've got the Centaur upper stage, the dual engine Centaur upper stage with its aerodynamic skirt for the Starliner. And then I'm holding this together with multiple fingers because this is not all done at all. And then you have the Starliner there. There we go. That's what I have left.
I mean, that looks great.
Yeah.
Looks great for a paper model, honestly.
Yeah, this is paper model, 1/100 scale. But yeah. And eventually I'm going to add magnets to all this so you can magnetize things. And so if you look at the front of the space station, again, I'm missing modules here. But so this is focusing in. Hang on. Focused. Maybe. Focused. There we go.
Yeah.
And so you have currently on the space station, now that they've docked, you have Crew Dragon up on top here, and then you have, again, missing its service module, Starliner docked here. So if you have, there we go.
That was just so cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are my models.
Wow.
I actually have most of the space station made paper models, but like if I do the whole front of the space station, see if I don't make a mess of myself. So yeah, the whole front go here. Even a working robotic arm.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, most of this is paper. Obviously, I have magnets in there, and I have some balsa in there that isn't necessarily required, but I do it for stability, for extra structure. But
okay, nerd.
Yeah. Isn't that what we all are here, nerds?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I was not familiar with how great paper models can be.
Yeah, I started doing paper models, gosh, 2007, 8, somewhere around there. There were a lot fewer of them back then. But
what was your first one?
Probably the space shuttle. But I don't think they have that anymore. It was a more complicated paper model. But what the story behind why I started looking for paper models is because all the die-cast models weren't good enough for me. I mean, they're beautiful models. I'm like, but this piece doesn't go here, or this piece. I was too detail-oriented, and they weren't the correct details for me. So paper models was where I decided to go because I can control the details at that point. So. Anyway,
that's cool.
So if anybody wants a demonstration about Starliner ever, I've got the models for it.
Let's go.
So. Anyway.
I still need to build mine. That metal.
Oh, that's right. You won the metal one. Yes.
That's so cool.
So after that, we had... How many people were there for the second attempt? Since I wasn't there, were you both there for the second attempt?
There's only like 10 of us.
And you guys got to go to the walkout all 3 attempts? So
yeah.
Well, the first 2 for me.
For you.
Yes, first 2 for you, yes. So, and then Sarah,
I was jealous of the third.
Yeah, well, they actually got to see.
That was insane.
Yeah, and they actually waved at you guys, I hear, right?
They waved at us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was sitting at home in my bed and I'm like reading our like WhatsApp chat, and I'm like, they waved at us. I'm like,
yeah, he made it a point to sit there and like wave for like a good
that's
minute.
awesome. That's really cool of them.
I want Butch and Sunny to wave.
Sunny did too, but it was a lot smaller.
What am I doing in LA right now?
They're ready to go to space. So,
oh, for sure.
Yeah. And then you got to see the launch. I love hearing. Was this your first launch?
It was my first launch.
I love hearing about other people's first experiences.
Yeah, it was insane. I live streamed it, so it was on my Twitch, and I saved the VOD. So I'm probably gonna use like long form content with it on YouTube. So I'll post my reaction. It was incredible. Definitely like a dream come true for like a little girl.
Oh, was it what you expected?
No. Not at all. But the countdown was so funny, is you could hear like the press site people behind you counting down the 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I looked at the countdown clock, and it was still on like 4 or 3 minutes, I think.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on?
That's weird.
And then you just see it. Yeah. launching. It was
then it's about
crazy.
15 seconds before the sound gets to you.
Yeah, there was a delay.
That's always wild to see, and then hear it, and then it's loud.
I feel like maybe the shuttles might be a little louder.
Oh, they were.
because that
Absolutely,
one,
they were.
yeah, because that one wasn't as loud as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. It was. Bringing out the model again. It's these solids that do a lot of the sound, the sound work here, all the crackling and everything like that. Although the Falcon 9 is pretty loud as well, but I think Atlas 5 might be louder, at least from that viewpoint. Some of it also has to do with the sound. It has to do with the clouds and everything like that too, and how the air pressure and everything. So yeah, that was. Unfortunately, I've only seen 12 launches at varying distances.
12.
Only 12 at varying distances, but that one would have been a nice one to see, so I'm a little jealous. But hey, I got to see Artemis 1. I can't complain. I got to see.
Yeah, whatever.
I was at roughly the same. Actually, I was at the same area. Do you know where the flagpole was? That's where I was at for Artemis 1.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I wish I was there.
That was.
Are we going back for Artemis 2 or 3? What is it?
I will be there somewhere. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully in that area.
Somewhere.
I'm gonna apply for the social, but I'm gonna go either way.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
I will definitely apply for the social if I need to. But I might try to see if I can apply for credentials through Orbital Velocity if they if they let me. So.
And you're gonna need 2 crew people to join you.
You know what? If they let me, I will. If you guys are offering, I will bring anybody that wants to come around.
I'll be there.
I'll put you to work.
Yeah.
But so you won't be it won't be I got in there for free. No.
Nerds on duty.
I know, nerds on duty. I love it. So, but yeah, Artemis 2 is going to be a good one. But trying to remember, I saw an Atlas 5 years ago was a 551, and this was an N22. If that means anything to you, because they never really went over the numbering sequence for you guys, did they?
I think they did a tiny bit.
Because the Atlas 5 for Starliner was the N22, which the N stands for no payload fairing, because that was the Starliner on top. 2 is for the 2 solid rocket boosters that there were, and then the other 2 was the number of Centaur upper stage engines, so 2 for that. So a dual engine Centaur.
Okay. That's cool.
All other Atlas 5s with Centaurs have been single engine, so they'd always end with a 1. So you'd have Atlas 5, 551 for the 5-meter payload fairing, 5 boosters, and 1 engine, and so on and so forth. So, I saw a 551 back in 2015. That was the second launch I ever saw. The first launch I ever saw was the space shuttle, but I was 12 miles away. So yeah. Anyway, so you love the launch, and hopefully we'll get Brandon out there to see a launch sometime soon. Although you're not very far from Vandenberg.
Yeah, no, I was like wondering about that, like how easy it is to see something go up over there.
I mean, have you not seen launches from SpaceX from LA?
I've seen in my neighborhood, like I've seen like what do they call it, like the jellyfish in the sky,
yes.
you know? Yeah, like I've seen that from like my neighborhood, and super funny when they started doing that. There were so many people like on Twitter, like, "What is going on? What is
space aliens?
What is flying through the air right now?"
Car crashes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No.
So I've seen that, but yeah, I'd love to actually like see it go up from the ground.
Yeah, there's a spot in Lompoc. What is it, about 3 hours north of LA, somewhere around there. I'm not sure how close you are as the crow flies. It still might be like 10 miles, but that's still better than 200 miles. So
Yeah.
And you'll hear it. It won't be as good as what Sarah heard, but because you hear it, you really hear it.
Yeah.
So,
but like when I was out there for the social with you, we caught that Falcon 9 launch from a distance, and
I didn't see it. I just saw the booster.
And Years ago, I saw another like Falcon 9 launch from like way off in the distance again. So I haven't been able to see one like press site levels of close.
Yeah, it's definitely something special when you're
soon,
there.
2026.
Yes. We're doing
Yeah.
2025. We're doing 2025. So I think that's what Artemis 2 is launching in 2025.
Is it?
Yes, September of 25. No earlier than it might still be 26 for all we know.
Don't listen to me.
Yeah. Well, you might still be right, you know, until they launch.
Don't put it out there.
And so I'll move on a little bit. I love talking about Starliner. And I was going to show some of the docking footage and everything like that, but I think we're running short on time a little bit. But I might just go on to Starship. So did both of you watch Starship launch?
Live.
I just saw like the tweets.
Okay.
I've seen lots of video clips.
Did you see any clips? You saw clips? Okay. But you guys but you guys did not see.
I didn't see it live, no.
I did at least. I woke up and watched Starliner live on my phone and go up. And I was like, all right, cool, it launched, and then I went back to bed.
Of course, yeah, for you, it's a couple hour difference there, so that would make sense.
I was like, once I knew it was like,
that would be like
safely in space.
Almost 6 o'clock in the morning for you, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So a couple of things. Obviously, it was for those listening, it's the fourth integrated flight test. The first flight test went boom after about 2.5 minutes. It lost control, and then I think it was the flight termination system that ultimately caused it to break apart. But it was definitely going out of control for the first integrated flight test on April 20th. Also did a rapid unscheduled digging for the launch pad. Put a giant hole into the launch pad. Flight test 2, they staged successfully, which is cool. This largest rocket in the world splitting in two. In the first stage, we're doing the boost back burn, but having issues because of that first kick. And then the second stage, making it almost to its target orbit before a fire, I think, on board caused it to basically self-destruct. And then flight test 3, everything worked except for the booster did not quite, the landing bird for the booster did not go successfully, and then the reentry, actually the entire first stage, this upper stage, the ship portion was not in control at all during the coast phase, and then it burned up on reentry. So this was the first flight, IFT-4, the first time everything, minus a few quirks, went perfect. Well, not perfect. It wasn't perfectly, but it was spectacular to see all of that go. The launch, it had an engine out on the way up, and the booster on the way down had an engine out to show how all that was still, even with the engine out, it still made its way did its job, and then had full control throughout its coast phase on its suborbital flight, and then on reentry, kept control during reentry. But seeing that footage of the burn through from that fin angle of the fin, and just start seeing chunks of that fin flying off, I was certain it was over at that point. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, it's still flying, still sending telemetry back. That was one of the most epic things I personally had ever seen. And I've seen a lot of the space stuff over the last 10 to 15 years. That was pretty spectacular.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was just seeing the heating underneath the stainless steel start to glow. I'm like, oh no, this is it. Oh no, we're watching it go. But then it made it all the way through. Heating is done, and did its landing burn to do its flip and burn maneuver and land on its end and splash down in the Indian Ocean. You can even see at the end of that footage, the fin that was basically barely hanging on there almost came off right there too. Almost completely lost the fin at the end. I cannot wait to find out what data they got from that. I hope there's more footage, but to get to this, for those who have not seen it, because I think they either dropped it today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. The buoy cam. If you guys have not seen that, I'm going to share this.
No.
Full screen it here, and full screen this. You guys see everything?
Mm-hmm.
So they had a buoy out there, roughly where it was supposed to land. And I'm guessing this buoy had a Starlink dish on it, and I'm going to assume it's a 360 degree camera. And so here we go. It does have sound, so anybody listening on headphones, be careful. I'm not sure what the how loud it's going to be compared to what we are right now.
Looks like it may be muted.
Is it muted? Hold on.
Yeah.
You're right. It is muted. Thank you. Okay. Also, look at that vapor cone. Okay. Sound delay.
Imagine being a fish right under there.
There's no way you just said that.
That was pretty cool. And just think what we saw. By the way, for those who may not, who want a size perspective, the skinny part of that rocket, the skinny part is 30 feet wide, 10 meters. I don't remember how tall that is. If anybody happens to know how tall this thing is. Just the first stage. The whole thing together, I think, is 120 meters tall. I know I'm mixing my units here, but yeah. Let's see, it was 50. Maybe it's 70 meters tall. Either way, it is huge. It is literally a skyscraper on a 3 engines.
I was gonna say, that's like almost as tall as like the Empire State Building. If it's like 120, right? Isn't that?
No. The Empire State Building is more than 120 meters. Let me look this up. Hang on here.
I feel like I just looked that up and I was like, that number sounds familiar.
I think I stopped sharing. There we go. I have a computer screen. I have too many screens. My ADHD is kicking in right now.
It's relatable.
380 meters is the Empire State Building, so it's like almost a third.
A third, okay.
That's pretty big, though.
It's still huge. By all accounts, it's huge.
Yeah.
Actually, guys, if you want a random space trip, the problem with going to do this is you're not going to know when you're going until about maybe a week out. If you guys all want to go to Texas for the integrated flight test number 5, I would not be surprised if that happens in July. Who knows? But we probably won't know until about a week out. We'll have good indications a couple of weeks out because you'll see the booster and the ship on the pad and going through its testing phases and everything. But they are talking about catching it with the launch tower on the next flight. So imagine that huge thing coming down this giant launch tower with little clamp arms and going. So, yeah.
That's insane.
And I guess as Elon Musk has said, excitement guaranteed. And I will say, if you want to not have to have special access or pay a lot of money to go see, you still might pay some money, but you don't have to pay a lot of money to see any launch up close. This one is the place to do it because you are 5 miles away. That's free public. Well, it's a park, but it's public. You don't have to be NASA VIP or anything like that to get really close. You don't have to be media. You don't have to be NASA social. You could just be just a regular Joe walking up, maybe pay the park fee, and then you're there at 5 miles away. And that thing is, I've not been there for one of these, but I know it's as loud, if not louder, than the Space Launch System, and that thing was loud. And just imagine that thing coming back down and the sonic boom you're going to get, and then the delayed engine ignition. It's going to be something to see, and that's before taking into account if anything goes boom. So that was a nervous laughter because that'll be very interesting if they lose a lot of hardware from that one. I'm actually kind of surprised they're talking about doing that on the next flight. But, hey, go big or go home, right?
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's ambitious.
Send it.
Yeah, send it. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes. That's what they did for the first one. They said, "Screw it, send it."
Just full send. Yes, sir.
They're like, guys, we have the materials to build a new tower, right?
Actually, I don't know if they.
Don't. Yes,
Sarah,
we
when you were there, they actually were barging. They were building some of the tower segments at Kennedy, and they just shipped them
for the SpaceX.
Yeah, for SpaceX, they just shipped them.
Yeah, I think we saw them.
But you may have. So yes, they have tower segments on the way down there. They are building a second tower. I was hoping they'd have a tower built completely before trying to destroy the other one. Because if something bad happens there, it's probably not going to be a month or two before the next flight. But then again, I've been wrong before. You know, I honestly thought, although to be fair, when they dug themselves a hole on the launch pad for the first flight test, I thought that was going to be at least. Actually, I was right. I said at least 6 months, and it was about 6 months before the next launch. But they actually got everything put together very quickly, and I was very impressed by that. Okay, so I guess we'll call that on Starship. Did you guys hear about? You guys know what Spaceship 2 is?
I'm not sure that I do.
Really? Oh, poor Virgin Galactic. Poor Virgin Galactic. So, do you know Blue Origin?
Yes.
Yes. So Blue Origin has a suborbital spacecraft called New Shepard, and there was also another suborbital spacecraft owned by Virgin Galactic and Richard Branson. It's called Spaceship 2, and it's basically a space plane that drops down off of a mothership and then launches up. It carries two pilots and four passengers. Well, VSS, Virgin Spaceship 2, Virgin Spaceship Unity, VSS Unity, had its very final flight. I forgot how many flights it took. I can look that up, but I know we're coming short on time. But basically, it took its final flight with passengers, and they're going to stand down for a couple of years while they build a brand new for their Delta class series of rockets, so they can actually start sending. Because they were actually getting to the point where they're launching once every month or two with this spacecraft, and now they're going to try to launch every 2 or 3 times. I think 2 times a week is their goal with a fleet of spacecraft.
Wow.
Suborbital, up and down, nothing crazy.
Twice a week, though.
Twice a week. That's the impressive part. If they can do it, we're going to have new astronauts all the time.
I was like, you're going to find enough customers to launch twice a week.
Well, well, it's not just people paying just to. Well, you have $200,000, $500,000.
I don't know.
Start a Patreon, right? Go fund.
Look in the Bitcoin.
You look at the Bitcoin.
Crypto wallet.
Yeah, no kidding. But I think they have been starting to broaden out their customer base from just paying customers wanting to say they've been into space to people from like NASA or Axiom Space to do actual scientific experiments, suborbital scientific experiments up there too. So yeah, there's a business case beyond just a tourist.
Yeah. Whether that now that you mentioned, now that you mentioned Spaceship 2, I do know what it is. I just forgot the name of it.
Well, yeah, they are a space because Spaceship 1 first launched in 2004 twice in 2 weeks. That started. They won the Ansari X Prize, $10 million. After spending $100 million to get the prize. But hey, that's how space works. But then Richard Branson bought the designs and everything like that, started Virgin Galactic, and Scaled Composites went along with all this stuff. I'm very briefly going over this. And they were a couple of years away from launching passengers for the last 14 years, something like that. They had sadly they had a deadly accident in 2014 when their spaceship Enterprise broke up during one of the flights, and one of the 2 pilots died. And they fixed all that stuff, but they had to build a new ship. That was Unity, and they were doing all the practice stuff over the last couple of years with Unity with some customers and all that stuff, and everything seems to be going well now. But it's actually the only spacecraft that astronauts fly literally themselves. They fly, it's not a computer flying it. They actually have the stick and fly up to space. You don't do that with Starliner. You don't do that with SpaceX. You didn't even do that with Space Shuttle. So
really, not even Starliner.
No. No. On launch, it is all automated. I think the only thing that the commander can do is basically during the launch phase. When they're in space, they have the joystick control, all that stuff.
I was gonna,
but
not for launch.
Not for launch. So yeah, the only thing they can really do is initiate an abort, but even that's usually the computer that does that. And during Space Shuttle, I think under 10,000 feet, I might be wrong on that, is the commander would take the stick of the space shuttle and manually fly it in. But that's already where it's well into the glide phase of its trajectory. So yeah, it flew its final.
It's like a
I was gonna say, wasn't like Apollo also like it wasn't manual unless they like had to like change course or something?
I don't think that, first of all, I don't think they ever actually manually piloted any rocket, but I'm wondering if they could have manually piloted the rocket during ascent if they wanted to. I do not know the answer to that. I'm sorry.
I thought I remembered seeing something on a documentary somewhere where like if there was like an emergency situation, they could like steer it somewhere. Like they had some sense of control if there was like a abort on launch.
They might have. I'm sure somebody listening in the comments now or in the future will let me know, because that would be a good one to research. If I might look that up myself now. But really quickly for VSS Unity, if I can find it, Virgin Galactic, going to share my screen once more for you and the viewers. I think I can go full screen here. Hopefully you guys see it. I don't know if there's any sound for this, but this is their press package. I'm not going to show you all 3 minutes, but you can see the drop of the vehicle and the ignition from the vehicle's perspective. You can see the mothership coming around. Well, they went away. And then
that's violent looking.
It looks pretty violent. You got 4 people as passengers, and you got 2 pilots. It looks violent.
I'd be in there being like, I don't know about this, guys.
The one thing, and this is no diss on Virgin Galactic at all. No diss on Virgin Galactic, but I feel like I would feel safer in a Blue Origin capsule because they've got an abort motor. This does not have an abort motor other than shutting it down. So that scares me. But maybe it shouldn't, and maybe I'm wrong. But that's a personal opinion. It says nothing about the quality of the work, because it's a beautiful spacecraft. And then they coast up for a couple of minutes, and they get out and do whatever they're going to do on orbit. Some of them just look out the window. Some of them have
looking out the window.
Oh, what else would you do? No, some of them have a package. There's an experiment package. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? You can. So back here at the back, there's an experiment payload that somebody should be getting back there to work on, but I think they're a little excited about being in space. I would be too, let's be fair, but
start doing flips.
They look like they're about to skydive.
They kind of do, yeah. Although those really are parachutes on their back, so in case the vehicle breaks up, God forbid, I think those will automatically deploy when it gets to a certain altitude. So going forward here, I'm going to fast forward to see if there's anything different than what I showed you. Oops, what did I do? Okay, more of that. Here we go. Somewhere they get back in. I think they get back in and start going back down. But the feathered reentry. So when they get up there, they actually move the back of the wings in the up position, like you see it right there, and that helps it kind of like a shuttlecock. It kind of helps it float back down into the atmosphere and keep it stable when it comes back down into to keep it belly first for any additional heating, basically, so it's stable. And then once they get lower in the atmosphere, is that the end of it? Yeah, that's the end of it. Once they get lower in the atmosphere, I'm going to turn this off. When they get lower into the atmosphere, then they'll fold the wings back down and it flies back down like a glider.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's an ingenious design, but it's only going 3,000 miles an hour, whereas Butch and Sunny went 17,500 miles an hour. So a little bit of a difference. With that. No diss on that, because it's just different.
Well, yeah, like one is like tourism to say that you went to space, and the other one's going to the International Space Station.
Yeah,
it's like a bit further away. Harder to catch.
So I'm going to go back to my screen once more and try to speed things up. The other thing that happened, this is more like 2 weeks ago, but the next cargo vehicle to visit the International Space Station is, where is it here? I got to find it on my list of things I threw up here. Okay. I'm not going to play the sound because I like to keep my monetization. They have music in the background, and I don't think I have the royalties for this. But yes, this is Starliner. It is like not Starliner. It's Dream Chaser. Too many
I was like,
vehicles.
she made a change.
She made a change. Yeah. So this looks a little. If it looks like the space shuttle, it's kind of a mini space shuttle. You can see people there for scale.
Cute.
Yeah, it is. It's called Tenacity. Its name is Tenacity, and this is it being. It is a very good name. And a model of this was actually in the Gateway building at Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex. This, I believe, is being offloaded before they put it into the vacuum chamber for testing at Kennedy Space Center. I think it's done with that now. I think they're in preparation for getting it ready to be stacked eventually for, it's going to go on top of a Vulcan rocket. And then it's going to go to the space station possibly as early as Q3 of this year. And it's going to send cargo. No people in this, but it will send cargo to the space station. And that'll be really cool because when it's done, it'll re-enter and land on the shuttle runway, which will be
Is
really
that
cool
its
to see.
final form? Or...
That's well, the sort of. So let me go back here. You know what? Let me do something here. Let me see if this doesn't mess
Where's
things
the
up.
window?
There's no window. There's no people for it. Yes. Dream Chaser.
But when it's gonna have people at some point, right?
At some point, but not for this. This is the mission profile. I don't know if this is gonna have sound or not.
So then it'll have a window.
We're years away from people ever flying in this. It's not. It is designed with the future forward thinking for people. So maybe they can cut a window out in there, but its initial run will not this vehicle. This vehicle will never have a window. Tenacity will not have a window. But future versions
Like
of
that
it may.
scene, like that scene in The Right Stuff when they look at like the Mercury capsule and there's like, where's the window?
Where's the window? I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, I haven't seen that in so long.
Yeah.
And they start ganging up on them. No, we're gonna have a window here. We're gonna tell you guys you engineers how it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the right engineer.
Yeah, they didn't have the right stuff. So anyway, it comes out of the capsule, out of the payload fairing, and it's got a little service module, so to speak, on the back called Shooting Star.
What in the world?
Shooting Star is what that little thing on the back is called.
Mhm.
It's not reusable. It'll burn up in the atmosphere after the mission is done, but it's got a lot of extra cargo, and you can put some external cargo on there. Plus, it has these solar panels.
I was going to say solar panels.
Yeah, to allow for. I'm going to zoom in here. To allow for. Obviously, for it to get power, and then the wings unfold as well. And then those are locked and done for the mission. And so that's its final configuration during the actual mission.
That is final form. Let's go.
That's its final form, yes. And then it will make it a rendezvous to the International Space Station. It'll probably be a day or two rendezvous. And I think the first one will be a berthing spacecraft. BERTH. BERTH. Wow, I can't spell. And then the robotic arm will grab onto it and then put
it goes butt up.
the robotic arm will go in and attach it to the bottom part. Hey, I got my models again.
There you go.
Go to the very bottom part right up here. So
that is so funny.
And then at the end of the mission, it detaches the shooting star to become a shooting star, and then this will land on the shuttle runway. Just like the good old days.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's such a great idea. I think, the space shuttle is just like so iconic, and in terms of like reusability, imagine like a space shuttle on top of a reusable rocket, how efficient that could be. I just think ultimately with the original space shuttle, it being on the side of the rocket led to a lot of issues.
Yeah, it makes you wonder
that's
if
something.
we wouldn't have had some of those problems, but
Yeah.
I've actually been listening to a couple of books about Columbia and Challenger recently. I'm actually listening to Truth, Lies, and O-Rings. I'm about halfway through that, but I also just finished listening to the one that just released a couple of weeks ago. I think it was just called Challenger, but it was just released a couple of weeks ago. And I also listened to, oh gosh, what was the name of it? Like, was it 16 Minutes from Home? No, it wasn't that. Either way, it was one that came out in 2018 about the Columbia accident. But so yeah, those have been my thoughts lately too. The accidents, and hopefully with all this excitement going on, nobody's forgetting the lessons that we so painfully had to learn over the years. Hopefully we don't have to learn the lessons again.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Starliner, it had its issues, 3 launch attempts, but they took their time with it and it went up safely. So
Yeah, like their mottos, they go when they're ready.
We go when we're
Space is
ready.
hard.
Yeah, it's a cliche, but who cares? It's true.
It really is. And me being a first timer, I'm like, there's no judgment. I totally understood every step of the way. So
one more sharing here, and I think I'll call this the end of the topics, and then we can start to wrap up here. Appreciate you guys hanging on here. Where are we at? Gotta find it. So the last major thing I wanted to talk about, and I know I'm kind of skimming some of these topics here, but I thought it was cool, and I don't think it happened this last week in particular, but the let me screen that here. But I think I'm gonna risk playing the sound on this one. If worst case scenario, I'm just gonna have it muted later. So this is so are you guys familiar with Axiom Space? Okay.
I saw about their suits.
Yes, the suits. Yeah. This is the first time I've seen them not in their PR blue and orange. Which or black and orange. It will not be black and orange, no matter how much people like to think about it. It's going to be white. Because reflections and physics and all that stuff. It will be a white suit. But this is the first time I've seen it being tested on the outside, not like in a controlled environment. And this is also the first time that I think I've seen it on a mock-up of the elevator that will be going down Starship. So I'm going to go ahead and play this because it's only 2 minutes, and hopefully
in their airlock mock-up and on their elevator for the Starship vehicle.
Let me know if this is too loud.
This is a really unique opportunity. It's been a long time since anybody has run a test like this.
Too, so that way,
holidays. So to pull off the Artemis 3 mission to land on the moon, we got to get our spacesuits,
Starship lander,
and all the other internal systems to work together in unison perfectly.
Hey, it's Peggy.
This was an incredibly successful test for a variety of reasons.
They do look a little chunkier.
All the pre-coordination, all the test planning, all the logistics that you're sorting through and how you're going to execute the test. There's actually a lot of engineering and preparing all the products that are required to run a test like this. It was also successful because we were able to hear from
I don't know if
crew,
I could ever.
Peggy,
I can imagine being the person who's got to sew together a spacesuit or a parachute or something like that.
Getting in and out of the suit?
You got to be confident.
Like stepping out of the airlock mock-up? How do we route this umbilical or put this equipment there or here? So getting that feedback back from the crew is crucially important so that our engineering teams can take that feedback and go iterate very rapidly on the next solution that we'll evaluate. We've got people from all sorts of different backgrounds, different skill sets, different experiences in life, different experiences in the workforce and careers. It's an incredibly diverse team. And really what we find is through that team, we're able to bring a lot of innovation and a lot of experience and mix that together to move quickly as a program, but also come up with some very innovative solutions to the challenges. It was a very significant event for the team. We'll certainly have more events as we continue to refine designs and iterate on our processes and procedures and things like that as we go forward. And this is important from a strategic perspective as well, because ultimately all of this leads to the culminating event, which would be flying the Artemis 3 mission. And we're trying to prepare all these products to enable that reality of having hundreds and thousands and millions of people living in space, working in space.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited to see those suits finally kind of out in the wild a little bit.
Yeah, I learned they have like limited arm ability. They can only move their arms so much.
Although they can move their arms a lot more than they used to.
It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it, but it's also like, it's they fully articulate with both the legs and the arms. But I think from what I understand, there's a gosh, what's her name? Are you guys familiar with the YouTube channel Huge If True?
No.
With Chloe Abrams, I think is her name.
Yeah.
It might be the wrong first name, but she used to work for Vox, and now she's doing independent journalism on YouTube. But she actually got to go in. I think she was the first YouTuber to go in and actually get to put on the suit. And actually,
I know who you're talking about. I just saw that.
Yeah, it was a really cool video. But they were talking about how you can move all these different directions you kind of have to work with the suit to do it. So you can't just go like this, you have to kind of like do this to, get it
there's
ready.
like a whole
If that makes any sense. For
down
those listening
and then
without,
move.
for those listening without visual, that might sound a little weird. You got to do this. So same thing when you're kneeling down and all that stuff. But yeah, it a little chunkier than I was expecting, but that could just be because it's a first-ish generation. Maybe they'll slim down a bit, or maybe they're just going to be that big of a suit.
It's kind of iconic.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't care. If we're on the moon, I don't think anybody's going to care. We're back on the moon.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's different layers, like 5 different layers or 10
Yeah.
different layers.
Yeah, there's definitely more information I could talk about that, but we're more than an hour in, so I should probably consider wrapping this up. I'm glad to do this more often if you guys enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I always love to learn about space.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be every week because sometimes life happens, but in my perfect world, I'd like to do some sort of a live stream every week. So I know people do enjoy this. I've gotten notes from people that have said, "Hey, I like listening to your stuff." At least that like some people will listen to this on the next day, like a podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
So if they like a bunch of nerds just rambling about space, go for it. So,
Yeah, hopefully they like
your
us
daily
too.
dose of nerds.
daily dose of nerd. What we don't have to do it right now, but one of the things I kind of wanted to do as a segment, just because if it's going to be Kármán Line Café, we go up into space and then we come back down to Earth. So what's going on? Something fun that's going on in your world, you guys' down to Earth world, not yours necessarily, but just things you want to talk about that's not necessarily space related. It can be Star Wars, it can be Star Trek, it can be whatever.
I was going to say, are Star Wars and Star Trek space related or Earth related?
It doesn't have to be space related, or it doesn't have to be Earth related. Just something we didn't talk about that you'd want to talk about. We don't have to.
That's
this
way
time.
above the Kármán line.
Yeah,
of the galaxy. Man.
That's true. Well, I just mostly talk about Star Trek and Star Wars are films on Earth, so or shows on Earth. So they're not set
the Acolyte premiered last week, so I do a Star Wars podcast, so I'm watching that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch your guys' podcast. That was I enjoyed the Acolyte. I know there's a lot of people who didn't, but I know there's a lot of people who did. That's kind of interesting to see the takes on that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
I like it. I think it's good, but make your own decision. So
it's off to a good start.
I think so.
I think it starts off a little slow, but I'm so invested with the characters now.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of a weird murder mystery.
You're a little biased though.
Yeah, I am a little biased. Would you call it a weird murder mystery?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, that's like always. Yeah, I think I was like kind of pitched like the first poster for the show had like a lightsaber with like a bloody streak on the ground where like the blade should be. It was like a murder mystery. So not quite like a whodunit because
we kind of
know who
did it, but
but
I guess
there's
why
still a lot of mystery.
How about why done it? Maybe a why done it?
Yeah.
Why? Got you.
Why done it?
It's that one question.
So I don't know.
I'm gonna have to watch it now.
You'll have to watch it. There's only 2 episodes now. If you act quick, there's 2 episodes. If you wait a couple of days, you'll have to do 3.
Oh shoot.
So the other thing I've been keeping an eye on is any new material. I also like Jurassic Park, so I've been keeping an eye out for the new. I don't know if they're going to release information about the new game coming out anytime soon, but I'm looking forward to that. Do you know anything about it? Either of you?
The new movie?
The new Jurassic Park game? Well, there's a new movie coming out too, but there's a game coming out.
Yeah. I don't know about the game.
Is it
I know
Lego?
a little bit
No. It's actually not. It's survival horror.
Oh, okay.
I assume that way anyway. There's a preview trailer that came out 6 months ago, but it's set a day after the original, one day after the original movie. And somebody named Maya Joshi trying to get off the island. The usual Jurassic trope, but but it sounds, I could be way off and they could be lying, but it sounds like it's going to be Isla Nublar open world, which would be really neat. I don't know if you guys like Jurassic Park or not, but I do. And I'm looking forward to that.
I'm a big
Well, I
I'm a
like
big
video
Jurassic
games,
Park fan
so
Yeah.
myself.
it's relatable.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have
We're all
anything
gonna be
Jurassic
playing
Park
it, yeah.
related on my desk? I
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah.
I used to have a little dinosaur here. I don't know what happened to
Oh,
it.
somewhere. Hang on.
Sneaked off.
Is it hiding?
I did some stuff for Jurassic. I did some stuff for Jurassic Park on the 30th anniversary. I ended up buying one of these things.
Let's see.
Oh, I don't know if you can read it or not.
Nice.
You can read it,
What
right?
does this say? Dinosaurs.
When
Yeah,
dinosaurs
it's
ruled
like
the
the
earth. It's the
banner.
banner.
The banner that
know.
falls down at the
Oh,
end
yeah,
with the
of
T-Rex.
course. Hello.
is
I had a
roaring.
little mini Jurassic Park 30th anniversary party a while back last June. I guess we're in Jurassic June again, aren't we? Let me see if I can find my Instagram real quick.
I'm excited for the Epic Universe. You guys know about that? Opening up next year.
The new park at Universal.
The
Oh
Universal.
yes, it's been so long
Epic
since I've been to
Universe.
Universe. Since I've been to
Isn't it having a
Universal.
Jurassic Park world?
I don't know.
Isn't there going to be a Jurassic Park?
Because there's a Jurassic Park area at Universal or Jurassic World, depending on the rebrand.
I'm really excited for that. I'm trying to get all my nerds to go.
If I'm down there again, I'm definitely I'm definitely
Yes.
cool with going. Of course, what is it now to go to Universal? Like $150.
I haven't been in like 2 years.
So let's see if I can do this right here. Hold on. I'm going to try to share once more just for fun my oh, that's over here. I did this the wrong order. Instagram share. Okay, you guys see all, well, it's still spinning. Stay. There we go. So so yeah, I did a
Let's
little
go.
I actually made the Chilean sea. I didn't actually use Chilean sea bass, but I think it was like a trout or something like that. To make my little the dish from the movie that they had.
Is that Jello? Is that the Jello?
That's the green Jello. Yes, somebody else
Yes.
said. Yeah.
So you clearly, since you didn't use actual sea bass, you clearly spared expense.
I did
you
spare
were so
expense. I
cute.
did. Yep, there I am as Dr. Grant. I even made some little visitor badges just for fun.
Nice.
Tried to reenact that. I'm terrible at it, but it was fun.
Nice.
And then a friend of mine dressed as the old man.
Yes.
And let's see, what else do I have here? I think then of course I had the pie. That was not actually, I did not actually put the Barbasol on there. So, the Barbasol, but so that's real whipping cream, but just, you know, the prop.
We all know you
That's
ate
amazing.
Barbasol that
Yeah.
day.
And then I tried to have some fun with, you know, Dennis Nedry. So although it didn't really look that much like him.
I have that Jurassic Park shirt.
The shirt.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
had that same shirt too.
It's,
Somewhere.
right. It's a pretty common shirt. So, oh, there's my dog.
That's cool.
There we go.
Oh,
No more animals.
yeah.
Maybe next time. So yeah, I think I covered everything I kind of wanted to talk about. Yeah. Anything else anybody wants to add?
No, that was really cool. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
doing my own stream, sharing my own thoughts. So
Oh, there we
thank you
go.
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this has been fun. I really enjoy streaming, like I said earlier, with more than one more than just me, somebody I can talk to. So
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I
thanks
guess
for having
No, it's always
me on.
yeah. Sorry.
so, no, it's fine. If there's anything else,
Yeah, no, I think there's like a little delay, so we keep accidentally
Yeah, there
talking
it
over
is.
one.
that makes sense. Okay, so I guess I'll go ahead and at least sign off. We can talk a few minutes after this on Discord, but I think I'll go ahead and sign off to everybody on the YouTubes. Let's see if that messes me up here. Oh, that's gonna mess me up. Thanks everybody for watching, and anybody watching later on a podcast. I got to make sure I set this up as a podcast. Thank you for watching in the future. We'll talk more about space news in the coming weeks and months. There's a lot happening, so much happening that I can't keep up with it. And hopefully soon I'll have more videos coming. I know it's been a while since I've had a long form video, but my plan, I'm actually hoping to make one over Starliner, since that's kind of the mission of the hour right now. And sometime soon, I'm hoping to also do a series of videos over the history of the Artemis program and how we went from how it started and how we got from then to here to now. So starting from the Constellation program, the Canstellation program, as they used to call it, all the way down to the asteroid redirect mission, and then on to what eventually would become Artemis. It's been a 20+ year journey to get where we are today, and we're finally on the cusp of going to the moon. And I think it would be really cool to do a whole history of that, and also have a separate video that I can update every year on the current timeline for the moon missions, because they're constantly changing. Artemis 1 obviously just happened in November of 2022. Artemis 2 is scheduled for 2025, but that could slip. Artemis 3 is scheduled for September of 2026, but that's probably going to slip to 2027. So, or it may not even be a moon landing mission at all. But that's for the video, so I'll get into that later. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and look forward for more content coming up soon. And then, as always, Ad Astra.